Hi, yesterday I did a video on how to improve trunk taper, and in there I sort of recommended to trunk chop your trunks as low as possible. But then I'm worried that maybe you will air layer your trees directly. Supposing if you plan to cut here as low as this, then your air layer here. I'd like to caution regarding that air layering, where to air layer, because there is a concept that you need to understand regarding that air laying here. There's a tendency for the roots to be deprived of energy, and by the time you cut it, by the time you remove your air layer, then your roots could be deprived of energy and may not shoot up. So here's the concept. This is your tree. Supposing this is your tree. If you look at the cross section here, you look at that way, top. Okay, so the wood is here, and the bark is at the outside. That's the bark. That's the dead part. Okay, that's the bark. The wood is, if the wood is live, is filled with sap, and at the periphery is your vascular system or your cambium, and your cambium is composed of your vascular system, which is xylem and phloem. This is not very important words to phloem. Okay. These are your vascular system. Now, you just need to understand this a little bit so that you will understand about air layering. No? Okay, the function of your xylem and phloem, the vascular system, is to get the nutrients from the ground, deliver it to the trees, to the foliages, and photosynthesis occurs and in the leaves, and that photosynthesis activity produces energy. Okay, or energy in the form of sugar, but sugar is not yet energy. That's the simplest form wherein it can be easily converted to energy. But energy is in the form of ATP or adenosine triphosphate. But again, that's not important to remember. What is important is that your vascular system transports your nutrients up and down, up and down. Okay, so nutrients, usually photosynthetic action occurs in the leaves, and that's where energy is transformed, or energy is made. So from nutrients to energy through photosynthetic action. Now, if you make you cut here, remove the bark. When you remove the bark here, and then you scrape it, that's the way to air layer. Scrape a little more, you are removing, or you're cutting off the phloem, or you're cutting off at least a highway of your vascular system. So what happens is that your energy produced in the leaves will have a very restricted flow to power your roots. See? Although the roots is the primary part of the system which absorbs the nutrients from the ground, but then if you remove that by girding, then what happens is that energy is very much restricted in going to the roots. What happens to the energy from the leaves? It is stored here. It is stuck up here, so that when you put a air layer there with moss or soil or sphagnum moss or coco pit, and then too much energy, you produce roots. Okay? So that's how energy is spent. It is being produced into roots. But again, your roots are jeopardized. See? Of course, maybe some energy will be it still goes through here, but it is jeopardized. So what happens if you air layer here? So by the time you remove your air layer, harvest it and plant it, then you make a trunk cut, well, there's a possibility that your roots will not shoot up. Okay, because why? Because now of lack of energy. Lack of energy. When it is cut off, there's not much photosynthetic action. So, and it has very few residual energy. Okay, very few residual energy. So it's not actually 100% that it will not shoot up, but there is a chance that it will not shoot up unless it's a ficus. So like this one. But in spite of this being a ficus, so the air layering was done high up the tree, and then wait for shoots to arise, and probably if shoots will, because once it cut, you also encourage bud bucking, or yeah, that's the term, bud buck. So there will be, once you cut, there will be shoots that will emerge. So maybe that's the way to trunk cut. No, if possible, do not cut directly from here. So maybe air layer, if you want to save your tree, air layer from somewhere where there is a branch. So, for example, if you air layer here and there is a branch here, there is still a branch here, then that's good because the energy produced and the foliages on this leaf can still power your roots. So by the time you trunk cut, after removing the air layer, you still have energy for this, and even if you trunk cut here, you're ensured that this has full of energy. This is still filled with energy, and that residual energy can be used to shoot up, and so you'll have many responses there. So that's about it. So I hope you don't air layer your plant right there where there are no branches at the bottom. So that's it for today. I am a little bit worried about, I did a video yesterday about trunk cutting to improve taper, but of course I anticipate people will air layer their tree to save it. But then if you air layer it in the wrong place, then there's a chance that you can lose your roots also. That's it for today. Good morning. Hope you enjoy and learn.